Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time zone you're in. Welcome, my friends. This is Forward Motion with Crito Tavo. Today we'll be going over some rules of the motive waves in the Elliott wave theory. First and foremost, this is the Elliott wave principle book that we grab all our information from. We base all of our we learn from this book. I would highly recommend for everybody to get it. It's on Amazon. Really good base foundation for trading analysis. It gives you all the ins and outs of the Elliott wave principle. Highly recommend. Okay, let's start again with the complete cycle. This is very simple. The Elliott wave theory says that the the that the market that the human behavior moves in a 8 waves recognizable pattern, and that recognizable pattern includes the motive phase, which is this phase right here. Includes 5 waves up: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, completing the motive phase. And then after the motive phase, which is this section here, you have the corrective phase, which includes a 3 wave movement, noted, labeled as A, B, C. In this video particularly, we'll be going over the types of motive waves. What information goes on this section of the uh, complete cycle, the motive phase. The types of motive waves, very simple. We have our um, impulse, which is impulse wave, which is the very basic pattern. And we also have our diagonals. Which are these patterns. They both go into the, they both follow the trend. They both go with the trend in the upwards direction in this case, but they are with trend tendencies. Both are made up of 5 waves. They have different substructures that we'll look into today, and different rules that govern, you know, these specific patterns. Let's go into the impulse wave first. Let's see what's that one about. Okay, this is we have here the impulse wave. So very basically, as is explained in the Elliott wave theory, is that the impulse wave is made up of 5 waves. There's 3 simple rules. Um, and to start off, there's the first rule is that wave 2, this wave, never goes beyond the price movement of the initial price of wave 1. So we'll never see 100% retracement. We'll never see this on an impulse, because that would mean that the rule is not being followed. It would be incorrect. So wave 2 always lands within the price territory of wave 1. So that's the first rule. The second rule is it's about wave 4. Similar to the first rule, wave 4 never goes beyond the price um, of the end of wave 1. So we won't see this price end past here. This is a no. So it always ends above the price of wave 1. So we'll always see it above price action of wave 1. And with those 2 simple rules, it creates a stair step pattern, like stairs. You go up, down. You never go below one. Uh, Up, down. You never go below this one. And then you continue on to 5-wave movement. Um, the third simple and basic rule that we have is that um, wave 3, this wave right here, is never the shortest when compared to wave 1 and 5. So these are within themselves impulsive. They're also made up of 5-wave structures. Um, Waves 1, 3, and 5 are made up of impulsive 5-wave patterns. And when we compare these three, the rule says wave 3 is never the shortest. This one will never be the shortest, because if it's the shortest, then we'll have something along these lines. And that clearly, if you have an impulse looking like this, where wave 3, this wave right here, is the shortest, then that would be invalid. There's a few more rules here in the 5-wave pattern. So we have waves 1, this guy right here, always subdivides into an impulse. So this information always subdivides into an impulse, or in rare occasions, a diagonal. In rare occasions, we'll see this. That's a diagonal. Diagonal is this guy, the other type of motive information that we receive. So inside the impulse wave, we can have a wave 1 be a diagonal. Similarly, we can have a wave 5 also be a diagonal. So those are some rules to follow. Is like wave 5 will always be an impulse or a diagonal of some sort. Another rule is that wave 2, this wave right here, always subdivides into a zigzag, a flat, or a combination of these two styles of corrective waves. We'll go into more detail in the next video about the corrective waves, but just know that in this area, in the wave 2 area, we'll have a flat, zigzag, or a combination of the two. In waves 4, it's a little bit different. What's more, it always subdivides, wave 4 always subdivides into a zigzag, a flat, or a triangle. Those are your three possibilities, or a combination of these. That's in wave 4. The last and final rule we have here is that waves 1, 3, and 5 will have waves 1, 3, and 5 cannot all be an extension. What is an extension? Let me preview this real quick. An extension is a different variation of the impulse. An extension is when you have, in this example, another 5-wave impulse within the impulse. I don't know if you guys seen in the markets, but you'll catch a crazy, um, you'll have these wicks going like this, and then they, retracement, and then just fly all the way up to Jesus, go all the way up, and sometimes you'll even see gaps, and then you'll have your retracement back down, and then continue. This section that we drew here is the extension. Usually in there will be a gap, or there'll just be an exaggerated green candle. So that would be kind of the other variation of the impulse. And the other variation of the impulse is when you have a 5-wave movement, just like in here, inside a 5-wave movement. So in this case, creating a total of 9 waves for an impulse. You have your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Actually, 13. Sorry about that. So 13 waves in total. You would add the first 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the internals will additionally be another 5, including the 1, 2, and the 3 and 4. So when this happens, you see crazy price action. So this is another variation of the impulse. Extensions are very easy to identify, and in the rule of the impulse, it says that not all 3, 1, 3, and 5 can be extended. 2 out of the 3 can be extended. So you can do either 1 or 5, which is not as common. What is more common is to find one extension within the impulse, whether it's 5, whether it's 1, or whether it's 3, but not all 3 together can all be extended. That never has been possible. So we follow that rule for the impulse. These are the rules, and wanted to just get a quick snapshot of it that we went over for the impulse. An impulse always subdivides into 5 waves. Basic 5-wave pattern. Wave 1 always subdivides into an impulse or diagonal. This little section right here always is an impulse or a diagonal. Wave 3 always subdivides into an impulse. Check. So this item right here is an impulse. Wave 5s always subdivides into an impulse or a diagonal. Check. So this section right here is either a diagonal or an impulse. Wave 2 always subdivides into a zigzag, flat, or combination. The information that goes in here, all this information, will come in these corrective patterns. Wave 4 has a zigzag, flat, triangle, or combination. Wave 2 never moves beyond the start of wave 1. So wave 2 never does this. That's a no-no. It always stays within the price action of wave 1. Wave 3 always moves beyond the end of wave 1. So wave 3 always goes beyond here. Wave 3 is never the shortest. Wave 4 never moves beyond the end of wave 1. Wave 4 never goes and touches this price action. And never are waves 1, 3, and 5 all extended. You can't have this pattern for all 3 impulsive waves. That's just not possible. So those are the rules that we must follow take a little snapshot, take some notes on it. Make sure you guys are writing these down so you guys don't forget them. As you get more familiar with these rules, they just become second nature. And you would be able to, with more practice, you'll be able to identify this impulsive structure very easily following these rules. Okay, let's move on to the second type. The second type, the diagonal, this guy right here. So we took a look at this guy, the impulsive, which is a five-way structure. And the other type of diagonal is also a five-way structure, but there's some overlap. There's a little overlap, and the internals are slightly different. Let's take a look at them. Okay, so we have here two variations of the diagonals. One is a leading diagonal, which leads the impulsive structure, which only exists in wave 1. And we have an ending diagonal, which ends the impulsive structure. So those are the two variations. Let's go on to the rules. In the rules, a diagonal always subdivides into 5-wave moves. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A 5-wave structure. Wave 2 never goes beyond the start of wave 1. Wave 3 never always goes above the start, the end of wave 1. Wave 4 never moves beyond the end price of wave 2. In a leading diagonal, so if this was wave 1, remember I said leading diagonals occur only in this section of the impulse. So wave 1, if this was a wave 1, wave 5 ends beyond the end of wave 3. In an ending diagonal, which is this guy right here, occurs only on wave 5. So let's say this was wave 5. In an ending diagonal, always appears as wave 5 of an impulse or a C of a zigzag or flat. Like I mentioned, always here. An ending diagonal will always be here. Waves 1 through 5 of an ending diagonal always subdivide into zigzags, 3-wave structures. 3-wave structures. You got 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 5. So in an ending diagonal, all these are zigzags. In a leading diagonal, which is back to this guy here, only at section 1, you can have waves 2 and 4 be zigzags. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So that's the difference between a leading and an ending diagonal. In an ending diagonal, all of them are zigzags. In a leading, only 2 and 4 always subdivide into zigzags. Waves 1 can be an impulse or a zigzag, impulse or an impulse. So that's the difference between this guy and this guy, is that 1, 3, and 5 can be an impulse. In an ending diagonal, waves 1, 3, and 5 must be zigzags. Okay? Another rule is, in a contracting variety, so we have, if we were to write a trending line connecting these 3 dots, 1, 3, and 5, and a line straight through, and then we do the same for 2 and 4, a line straight through, we would get these lines converging, coming together, crossing at some point. That means it's this space here is contracting. They're converging. Also, you also note the length of the waves. Waves 4 is always shorter than wave 2. Always. And wave 5 is always shorter than wave 3. So when compared to their previous wave, they're shorter. They get shorter as time goes forward. So 1 is your longest, 2 is long, 4 is shorter, 3 is long, 5 is shorter. You get the waves get shorter as you move over with time. There's one more variation, which is the expanding diagonal, which does occur, not as common as these guys. These are way more common. But there has been a few instances where we have an expanding diagonal. And what is that? So very similar to the contracting diagonal, similar rules. They always subdivide into 5 wave movements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wave 2 never goes beyond the price action of wave 1. Wave 3 always goes above wave 1. And wave 4 never goes below wave 2. Those are the same basic rules of the ending diagonal, but the only difference is that they expand over time, that the waves actually get bigger over time. You have wave 1, wave 3, and wave 5. 5 will always be your longest, second, shortest. Similar with waves 2 and 4. Short, longer. If you were to connect the same way we connected the dots here, dot 1 and at dot 3, you draw a line, connect the dot here, connect these two dots, draw a line. You would get these lines diverging from each other, going away from each other. They split because of the length, because the length of the waves get bigger over time. So those are the rules. Let's go into the expanding diagonal rules one more time, just to reiterate. Take a little snapshot, take some notes. Similar, a diagonal always subdivides into 5 waves. So we always have a 5-wave structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wave 2 never goes beyond the start of wave 1. 2 never goes here. Wave 3 always goes beyond the wave 1. Wave 3 always goes beyond here. Wave 4 never moves beyond the end of wave 2. Wave 4 doesn't go beyond here. A line connecting the ends of waves 2 and 4 diverges from the line connecting the ends of waves 1 and 3. Those were the dots that I explained earlier. So, dot here, dot here, dot here, and dot here. Connect these lines, and we get a divergence. In the expanding diagonal, wave 4 is always longer than wave 2, and wave 5 is always longer than wave 3. The rule is this wave here, wave 4, is longer than this wave, and wave 5 is always longer than wave 3, and 3 is longer than wave 1. And the last rule is that wave 5 always moves beyond the end of wave 3. Wave 5 will always go beyond the price action of wave 3. So that's for the expanding. Here are the rules for an ending diagonal, which are way more common. Take a snapshot, write these notes down, put pause in the video, and try to get these memorized so you can be able to recognize an ending diagonal quickly. So let's go over the rules. An ending diagonal always subdivides into 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wave 2 never moves beyond the start of wave 1. Wave 2 never goes here. Wave 3 always goes beyond wave 1. So wave 3 always pushes past here. Wave 4 never moves beyond wave 2. 4 never goes here, never goes beyond there. A leading diagonal always appears as wave 1 of an impulse, or wave 1 or wave A of a zigzag. We'll go over the zigzag part in the future videos, but leading diagonals always appear in wave 1. So this goes to here. Leading diagonals will always happen here. A leading diagonal, wave 5 always ends beyond wave 3. 5 always goes beyond wave 3. In an ending diagonal, which are these guys, any diagonal, always occur here in wave 5. And what's the difference between an ending and a leading? Is that waves 1 and 5 are zigzags, and 2 and 4 of a leading diagonal are zigzags. So in this case, all these are zigzags, which is a 3-wave structure, all of them, substructure, sorry. And in this case, only 2 and 4 are zigzags. These can come in different variations. Waves 1 and 3 of an ending diagonal and waves 2 and 4 of a leading diagonal always subdivide into zigzags. Okay. A line connecting the ends of waves 2 and 4 converge towards a line connecting the ends of wave 1 and 3. Those are the dots that we mentioned earlier. The dots 1 and 3 and 2 and 4. Draw a line through that, and you notice that they will converge at some point. They will cross at some point. In a contracting diagonal, wave 4 is always shorter than wave 2, and wave 5 is always shorter than wave 3. Waves 4 is always shorter than wave 2. Wave 5 is always shorter than wave 3, creating this contracting like pattern. You see them coming together. Well, those are all the rules for today. Again, we went over 2 types of motive waves, and they have different variations. We went over the impulse wave and its rules. We went over the diagonal and its rules. In the impulse wave, we have the basic pattern, and we have the extension pattern, which is a variety of it. We went over the diagonals, which is there's 2 types of diagonals. There is the leading diagonal that only occurs in this section, and then we have the ending diagonals that only occur in wave 5, and we have 2 variations of both. The variations are contracting, where the lines come together, and we have an expanding, where the lines diverge from each other. They split away. Well, I hope you had an understanding of the patterns the motive waves, what two possibilities for these sections are. This section, we only took a look at this section here. What are some possibilities that can happen here? And the answer would be impulsive or diagonals. I hope you found this video useful to understanding the motive phase of a complete cycle. Well, thank you very much, my friends, and we'll catch you all next time.